What is going on, good people? Welcome into the Tim Warren Show. What a good day to go live, because crypto, for the first time, it feels like in 27 years, actually is moving positively today. We're going to discuss all of the things going into it. What are the news? What are the charts? How high can we get during this rally? If you watched our show last week, we told you a relief rally was not just overdue, it was coming. Whether you believe the bull market is still here or if we have entered a bear market, a relief rally was going to come. And it's looking very much so like what we are witnessing happening right now is that relief rally. Just how high can we get, though? We'll discuss that on the show. So make sure you do not go anywhere. Make sure you're here for the entire thing. Smash that like and hit subscribe. Now, before we get too far into it, you guys are going to realize for the third week in a row, I don't know why I'm not getting over this cough thing. I still have a cough. I still have a runny nose. I'm not sick. I'm not anything, but I still have this crap. And then, we decided Tim's had a rough life here the last 3 weeks. Let's add to it. Somehow this weekend in painting my new house, I developed heel bursitis. I thought for a second it was like tendonitis of my Achilles, but heel bursitis. Google it. Stupid painful. Every single step is excruciating. I'm standing right now, and because I'm in a nice flat zone, I'm not really doing too much. Not too painful right now, but walking is the worst. And then, I decided, what? Being sick and having bursitis, that's not enough. Let's sleep on your pillow wrong, Tim, and make your neck hurt. So now my neck's a little stiff as well. But you know what? My pain is your gain, because I did all of that so that crypto would pump once again. So that's a good reason right there to smash like button if you haven't done so already. It's going to be a shorter show. I want to get through all the content. I want to get through the charts. I want to get through the news. I want to explain some things to you guys, but I don't think we're going the full hour. We got a lot of feedback last week from you guys. Some people are saying they really like the full hour. Some people saying they like the 20-minute shows. Others saying 30 minutes is perfect. Continue to let us know in chat, in the comment section, what do you guys think about the show? But today, it's going to be a shorter show, probably longer than 20 minutes. But more than likely, I do not see myself running over an hour with this one. So lock on in with us here as we get into some details. Shout out to everyone there. I see Shrum is in chat. He's not here today, but he is in chat. Smay is pushing the button. Smay, do you want to show your face real quickly just so people know you're alive? There we go. There we go. That's Smay right there, everybody. But he's not going to be on the show with me. He's just going to push some buttons here. You guys ready to talk about some crypto, talk about some news? Boom. Let's do it. Let's go to the chart here, Smay. Bitcoin getting a nice bounce up here today. We are kind of starting to hit our head closer towards $89,000. Now, I will tell everybody, I was live with some VIP traders earlier today, and I told them, don't be surprised if the 88.7 to 89,000 region is a little bit of resistance. One of the big reasons why is when you look at lower time frames, there is some resistance from order blocks in this area, which means pretty much it's areas where we could see some selling happening. The 4 hour actually is giving us a smart trail resistance. I think it's the 1 hour. I have to go back and look to make sure. I think it was the 1 hour giving us the order block. So let me make sure about this. There we go. There's our 1 hour order block right here. You do see we wicked right up to it, 88.826. And then we have a little bit of resistance coming. Does that mean the top of this pullback is in? Are we saying that the top of this relief rally was 88,600? No, that's not what we're saying. Just saying right now, short term, don't be surprised if even while we're live, we see a little pullback. I just want to get out ahead of it because normally I'm in the middle of a rhythm and I'll try to look at chat and people be like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's crashing. And it's down like $300. It's not crashing. But the good news is right now, there are some sustained, very, very good moves happening for Bitcoin. I want to kind of be a little quicker with Bitcoin chart today because there is some other stuff that I want to get into. But just so you know, we talked about this on Friday, kind of suspected Friday was the bottom, right? We talked on Friday, maybe let's watch how this weekend looks, but maybe this is the bottom. We wicked down into a major support level called the platinum pocket. Couldn't guarantee the bottom was in. By the way, right now, I'm not even guaranteeing you the bottom's in. I'm just saying this is the best Bitcoin has looked since back here in early November. So you got to kind of cross your fingers and say, man, maybe the bottom is in. But we got some good news coming out that might be able to confirm it. Last night, we did confirm a daily buy signal from the flow signals indicator. This is our indicator we use every day on this channel to trade these markets. By the way, had a couple losses early in the week last week, very frustrating. Ended the week on a great roll, had several wins, won some more even this morning, entered some more trades this morning all because of this indicator. You can see here, green reversals came in throughout the weekend, green momentum, and that positive money flow on the 12-hour chart did give us a very, very, very good signal that it's time to go a little bit further to the upside. But what's even better is the daily chart is starting to go that direction. You look at it, you obviously have the green reversals, the green momentum, and you zoom in there. And I don't want to jinx this, so let's not say it's confirmed. It's not confirmed. Let's see how today closes. But right now, if the candle were to close at current levels at 88,400, we do see the momentum of money flow starting to come back to the upside, giving us a daily buy signal. This one a whole lot better than the one we had back here earlier in November. Even though we did have a small pump, it wasn't really that great of a pump. This one I do think lines up with a whole lot of reasons the relief rally should be here. If you're wondering what those reasons are, we've been talking about it. The death cross that happened here a couple of days ago, about a week and some change ago, we told you that oftentimes marks a bottom within a certain amount of days. Well, the death cross has happened right there. We've hit some major levels coming in here. Our volume has begun to pick back up. You can see massive volume coming in here on the bottom day. A lot of reasons to suspect and to think that we could be seeing a relief rally. How high will we get to? That's going to be the question. Do we see new all-time highs coming before we go any lower? Or will we ever drop back below $80,000? Or is this a dead cat bounce, a relief rally that ends up hitting its head and kind of mimicking what we saw happen way back in 2022? If you're wondering what that is, the weekly chart, I'm going to jump around here a little bit for you guys. The weekly chart, we had a major bad event. The SMA, the 50-week SMA was lost. Candles closed below it. We ended up bouncing close to around the 100-week moving average, rallying back up, slightly breaking through the 50-week moving average. The bigger deal here is we ended up bouncing off the 200-day moving average. I'm bouncing between two timelines, so forgive me here. We ended up rejecting on the 200-day moving average, right? So we lost the 50-week, fell down to the 100-week, jumped back up to the 200-day moving average. We, of course, would reject and head into a bear market. So that 200-day moving average, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be important. Will it be the top? I don't know. Will it not be the top? I don't know. But I think it's going to be an area that's interesting to watch. Now that we did, let's go back to the weekly chart here. We did cross below the 50-week moving average. Look at where we bounced. Blue line, everybody, just in case you don't know, because some of you guys might have a different colored 100-week moving average. We bounced off the 100-week moving average. Are we headed back up on a repeat of 2022 to the 200-day moving average right now, coming in at $110,000? More than likely, it'll be lower by the time we meet it. That's going to be an interesting question for sure. What I do think is what we should expect with this daily chart, the daily buy signal coming in, I do think we should be looking at the flow signals indicator and saying a good chance we at least make it back up here towards $98,000, $97,000 area where we are seeing the smart trail begin to come down. There's an order block coming in actually right below 97,000. Could be some interesting resistance right there if you ask me. But again, I do think there's a lot of reasons to suspect, even if the top currently is in, even if this is a dead cat bounce, I think that we will more than likely break above 100,000. I think people will turn very, very bullish. I think the pessimism in the space will flee as another tactic of the composite man to sucker retail into buying another top, and then we dip down to lower levels. I just am not ready yet to say the bottom is in. I think there is not enough information out there to say that you can feel comfortable the bottom is in. What's that information going to be? It's going to be confirmed, not rumors, confirmed liquidity entering back in the space. Not just rate cuts, not just money printing. Will we see the Fed move closer into either official or unofficial quantitative easing? Go off my screen for a second, Smay, because I think this is an interesting point I want to camp out on. Some of you might be saying, Tim, we didn't have to get quantitative easing back in 2021 to have a bull market. We didn't officially have quantitative easing. What the Fed does is they have their official quantitative easing where they tell everybody, hey, we're in QE. We're going to inject money in the markets. Then they also have their unofficial where they say it's not QE, but they are injecting money in the markets. That's what happened back in 2020 after COVID had a major collapse. The Fed unofficially moved into QE, started injecting money back into the economy. And as you all know, if you study your history, stocks and crypto exploded to the upside. Well, that is coming. Quantitative tightening is ending on December 1st. More than likely, as we're looking at it right now, we'll have to wait and see after a roller coaster. Go back to my screen here, Smay. After a roller coaster of emotions, right now, we're looking at a 25 basis point cut with an 82% probability coming in December. Remember last week when this was a 70% prediction that we were going to have no change whatsoever? And I told you, don't count your chickens before they hatch. This is going to be volatile. It's going to go all over the place. Well, turns out I was right. We're back up to 83% probability of another rate cut. But will we get an announcement from Jerome Powell that we're closer to quantitative easing than he originally said? Why? Because he's going to end QT, but ending QT does not automatically mean QE. He needs to officially say we're moving into quantitative easing. And while I do believe that is going to happen after he's gone from office, when he steps down as a chairman of the Fed, we have all the way until May of 2026 before he officially has to step down. Does he get replaced before then? That's the great debate right now. But all of this, I'm trying to say, until we have that confirmed QE, until we actually see liquidity pouring back in, I'm hesitant to say the bottom is in. I think there's a chance, and the key word is chance here. I think there's a chance that what we end up seeing happening is a relief rally that takes us back up north of $100,000, somewhere between 100 to 110. And then we fall back down and potentially go even lower, double bottoming on the April lows there around 74,000. And then we make our move to the upside. You might be saying, Tim, that would be too crazy. There's no way. Oh, wait. We kind of did stuff like that right back here in March of 2025, right? We fell, crashed all the way down to 78,000 from the highs of 110. Look at this relief rally. If you were here trading with us, a lot of people thought the bottom was in back here when we rallied back up towards $95,000, and yet it wasn't. We would go ahead and collapse a couple of weeks later. Same thing all throughout the summer of 2024. It was a very volatile summer while we were deciding when the bottom came in, right? We were waiting to get a little closer towards election season. We were waiting on this one to get a little closer towards not so much concern about tariffs. Right now, there was a dramatic far drop, the farthest drop in Bitcoin since the previous bear market. I think we're going to have a pretty violent rally back to the upside. Again, get north of $100,000. But until that confirmed QE comes in, you've got to be ready and prepared. We easily could do this before deciding to bottom out and making our move to the upside. So do I know what's going to happen in the future? No, I do not. Do I have a crystal ball? Am I a fortune teller? No, I'm not. What I'm telling you right now is it makes sense to have a bounce. The charts are saying, hey, daily chart is saying, guys, we're oversold right now. It's time to buy. Look for moves back up towards or above 100,000, but nothing yet is screaming at me the bottom is in. I'll feel a lot better when this chart, the weekly chart, gives me a buy signal. And right now, not what I'm seeing coming in, okay? Another reason to think that the bottom might not completely be in, and this isn't guaranteed. I just want to make sure it's bringing on to your radar. Guess what we did this week? We opened up higher last night when the futures opened back up. We opened up higher than we closed on Friday, giving us the dreaded, the terrible, the so talked about CME gap to the downside. We now have a CME gap once again to the downside coming in at $84,585. So does that mean I would have really loved for us this morning to go ahead and close it, but that didn't happen. Does that mean right there that that's going to loom over our heads as we get up towards $100,000 and then boom, we make a move down below? That is going to be very interesting to watch. Redline in chat put in Clarity Act as well. Yeah, give me a bill that gives regulation to institutions to want to buy in and then have liquidity come in as well, and I'll be very bullish. But for now, I don't think the chaos and the manipulation is done just yet. I think the composite man has some moves up his sleeves, and he's not going to let us off the hook that easily. With that said, some of you guys know I am buying. I was buying the dips. I'm longing the crypto markets right now because I do think that Bitcoin is making a move to the upside. Really quickly, we might circle back and do some charts on this, but one of the good things about this is I love seeing Bitcoin be bullish and watching this chart, the Bitcoin dominance chart, be bearish. In fact, we actually today just dropped to the lowest levels we have seen since all the way back on October 7th. Bitcoin dominance is plummeting. Why? Well, it's because you have coins like Ethereum up 6% today, going back towards 3,000. XRP, ladies and gentlemen, I got complained at a little bit ago that somebody said, oh, Tim, you don't talk about XRP enough. Well, XRP, do something for me and I'll talk about you. It is up 10% today, making some major moves here. I think this to a level to watch for 264. Could reject and hit our heads on that once again. Bad sign. If we break above that, very, very good sign here for XRP. By the way, reading chat here, Alpha Geek says CME gap is filled. No, it's not. It's not filled. Sorry, it's not filled. And if enough people want to go into that, I can go into that, or you can just trust me. CME gap is not filled. The one we created this weekend is not filled. How about some other altcoins of note? SUI. When was the last time we talked about SUI? SUI is up 12%. Now, SUI's got a long road ahead of it. When you fall really hard, you can get a good bounce here. So let's not act like this means SUI is a superior altcoin to others. I like SUI. I hold SUI. XRP's chart looks better, right? This XRP has made way more ground on making back some of the losses from the last couple of weeks. SUI's got a ways to go, but it's a great start here, seeing it up 12.6% on the day. Again, all these charts you're going to see, just like Bitcoin, these buy signals on the daily chart are coming in. Even though Bitcoin dominance is dropping, I still think right now Bitcoin and altcoins are tied together. So knowing what the Bitcoin chart is doing is going to be very important. Last chart I want to show you here, and then I'm going to get into some news stories. I want to show you another very good chart, but one to keep an eye on. It's called the USDT dominance. You guys remember we talked about this one last week as well. I drew this box for you. I said this is a key zone of resistance. The highs that we've seen since back in January of 2024, we cannot lose these highs. We cannot let resistance be broken, or we are in major, major trouble of a bear market. Some of you think we're already in major trouble in bear market. This would be a pretty bad one to lose. Guess what we did? We rejected almost right at the 11th hour, right at the top level of the zone. And the last couple of days, we have been making our way back down. Daily sell signal is in place. It's going to be very interesting to watch where and what is happening when Bitcoin does get close to or above $100,000. Where is this USDT dominance? Do we see support level once again and a major bounce, and we end up going into a bear market like this? Or do we start to make our way back down towards support and then break through that, confirming a longer term, more explosive bull market? If you're wondering why this chart is important, when USDT dominance goes up, that means more people are selling their crypto and holding it in stable coins. But when this chart goes down, it means more people are using their stable coins to go buy cryptocurrency. So we want this chart, just like Bitcoin dominance, we want this chart to plummet. Will it do it? We'll see. But today, very good sign. We are starting at least a miniature move of a downward action here on the chart. All right. Guys, go ahead and smash the like button right now if you're enjoying the show so far. Also, give a special shout out to our sponsor. Talk about them on Friday, but you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. NordVPN, guys, if you do not have a VPN, if you are trading cryptocurrencies every single day, but you're not protecting your security, your IP address, if you're not protecting your encryptions, I don't know what you're doing. Go right now. There's a Black Friday sale where you can get up to 78% off. You're not hearing me wrong. 78% off right now with our link in the description down below. For less than a cup of coffee for a whole month, you're protected. Am I saying to do this because you need it to skirt all these different legal? No. I'm saying there's a lot of advantages to VPNs. But right now, security and privacy, two important reasons that you need to have one right now. Go check out NordVPN. This sale is really only this week, so you got a couple of days left, but make sure to act right now. For only $288, you can get a VPN and protect yourself. Go check out NordVPN. Let's get into some stories here. I already kind of brought up this stuff right here. We already talked about, this is increasing since I talked about it. We're now up at 83%. So increasing likelihood the Fed is going to be cutting rates. Very, very good thing. Some of this will be impacted tomorrow. Tomorrow and Wednesday. So just, the rest of this week, I will be live tomorrow afternoon, and I'm going to go live Wednesday morning, briefly, quick charts, quick news update, and then we're going to take a nice weekend for Thanksgiving, spend time with the family, Black Friday, yada, 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 continue to do stuff for my new house. Either way, what's going to be interesting the rest of this week? Tomorrow morning, PPI will be coming out. This has an impact on how the Fed views inflation. Is inflation under control, or will we be okay? The next day, very important, initial jobless claims. Even though this isn't directly tied, by the way, this will be November's, this isn't necessarily directly tied to unemployment. They won't view it the same as seeing unemployment rise, but they do watch jobless claims as a potential indicator of what employment looks like. So Tuesday, we'll find out a little bit about what inflation is looking like. On Wednesday, we'll find out a little bit more about unemployment is looking like. Stay tuned for that. Let's get into some drama that happened over the weekend. There was a tweet that went out from Watch.Guru that Senator Cynthia Lummis, so one of our elected officials, is getting involved in this drama. Senator Lummis slams JPMorgan for its anti-crypto policies. Quote is saying policies like JPMorgan's undermine the confidence in traditional banks and send digital asset industries overseas. Go off my screen here, Smeg. Now, what I'm going to do here, if you guys did not hear about the chaos, I'm going to do my best to keep it short and brief and explain in a nutshell what's going on and then give you my thoughts on it. Ultimately, what we have happening over the weekend is JPMorgan selling off their MicroStrategy. Why are they selling off their MicroStrategy? Well, there's a couple different sides to the story. They're going to tell you it's because of the recent concern that MSCI changed, that we're going to see MicroStrategy, which is a stock, be removed from the MSCI. And one of the big reasons why is because there's a discussion being had that MicroStrategy operates more like a treasury because more than 50% of its balance is held in an asset. And that asset, of course, is Bitcoin and should not be traded in the MSCI, in NASDAQ, or anything else as a stock. It should be treated like a treasury. Well, JPMorgan is saying that could be a major concern. This could be a major problem. They just dumped a whole lot of MicroStrategy. And of course, that's part of the reason why MicroStrategy dropped by more than 73% over the last couple of weeks. Now, what is the accusation? The accusation is that Jamie Dimon and JPMorgan are purposefully manipulating the price of the asset. There's an accusation that they not only sold the assets, which again, you can sell it. If you buy it, you can sell it. That's on you. But are they actively shorting it as well? That's where a big problem comes in because they would have the capital and the wherewithal to make a whole lot of money in manipulating by knowing, okay, we own this massive chunk of this stock. We're going to enter a short position and then sell off all of our bags, knowing that when we do that, it will begin a cascade of liquidations. And that's a purposeful manipulation of the market to the downside. Are we surprised? We don't know if that's sure or not. That's where we still need to find out what's going on. Are they officially shorting it? We have to know. Are we surprised this is happening, though? I'm going to say no. And you want to know why? And I told some of you this. I didn't like back on October 30th something that happened. On October 30th of 2025, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JPMorgan, if you didn't know, came out on television saying I was wrong about Bitcoin and altcoins. They actually do have a purpose. They're a great thing, yada, 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 praising cryptocurrency. Now, the price of Bitcoin at the time was around $115,000, $116,000. We are down from all-time highs, but at that time, there was a lot of belief, hey, this is just a small itty-bitty correction. We can make a nice bump back to the upside. What is Jamie Dimon and JPMorgan known for doing throughout the history? Their long history. They are manipulators. When they want to sell something, they tell you to buy it. When they want to buy something, they tell you to sell it. Towards the bottom of the bull market, bottom of the bear market, beginning of the bull market, Jamie Dimon was a staunch hater and critic of Bitcoin. Meanwhile, a lot of rumors out there from people that worked for him, he secretly was buying the whole time. Also, if you hate Bitcoin so much, why did you even own stock in MicroStrategy, which of course is heavily utilized by Bitcoin? The reality is he's been fudding Bitcoin for a long time while accumulating it. And now he wanted to make some money, wanted to short the markets. And of course, he tells you he's bullish on all of it. We'll have to see how the rest of this Jamie Dimon and JPMorgan versus MicroStrategy kind of plays out. But in a nutshell, we shouldn't be surprised. He was just bullish. And when Jamie Dimon says bullish things, he's not like Cramer, where Cramer, I think, is legitimate. I think Cramer believes what he said, and he ends up kind of calling things opposite all the time. Jamie Dimon purposely lies to your face. He tells you to be bullish when he wants to be bearish. He tells you to be bearish when he wants to be bullish. I'm not surprised by this whatsoever. The question is, am I scared? Am I scared that MicroStrategy is in real trouble? Am I scared that if this whole thing plays out, Bitcoin could really struggle? Well, before I say if I'm scared or not, let me explain the fear. If it's true that we end up seeing MicroStrategy removed from the NASDAQ, removed from the MSCI, that's going to take away a whole lot of investment that has come into it. If MicroStrategy begins to free fall its stock MicroStrategy could be forced to sell off Bitcoin. And as some of you know, it is one of the largest holders ever of Bitcoin. This could cause Bitcoin's price to begin to cascade and move to the downside. So the reason to be fearful is the trickle effects or the dominoes of a catastrophic decision to remove MicroStrategy from the NASDAQ could begin the dominoes effects to crash even Bitcoin's price. With that said, we covered this last week. At this point in time, no, I do not. I believe even the details of this coming out right now, isn't it funny that the details of this are coming out as it's looking on the charts like we just bottomed? This is coordinated manipulation to confuse the retail investor. I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned, at least at this time, about MicroStrategy and Bitcoin having this big problem. I will say, though, if the story develops and it starts to come out with a little more teeth to it, hold on to your pearls because there could be some problems. But for now, I'm not that worried about it. I think this was coordinated FUD to scare the markets, and yet markets are continuing to move to the upside. I did it as quickly as I could. It's a very complicated situation, but I explained it as quickly as I could. Let me know in chat. Did you guys agree with my story? Did I explain it well, or was that terrible and confusing? Let me know in chat. All right, let's keep going on here. Some more news, going back to my screen. Let's get some good news. Like, that was some bad news. Let's get some good news. This is another reason markets are pumping right now. President Trump has accepted an invitation to visit Beijing in April and has invited President Xi Jinping for a U.S. state visit later that year. There are some other quotes going out that Donald Trump said he's had extremely beneficial talks from China. Now, this is another storyline that just goes up and down and up and down and up and down. When the markets are low, all of a sudden, all the talks with China are going very well. Prices go up. When prices go up and we start to hit some resistance levels, all of a sudden, talks with China are not going well. Prices come back down. So am I saying that I believe that the situation with China is solved, dead, and gone, and we're good? We have nothing but bright skies ahead of us? No, I'm not. I'm saying we hit a welcome bottom. The powers that be decided this is a good time to say that the conversation is going well so we can get some more pumps to the market. Traders, I'm talking to you. This is bullish. When you see these headlines, that means we have some green candles coming. Some other stories to be aware of. Now, this one's interesting. It really depends on if you believe him or not, if you think he's a reverse indicator or not. I'll read it, give my take afterwards. Breaking: Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said that the U.S. is not on track for a recession in 2026 and that Americans would soon benefit from Donald Trump's policies. Do you trust that man? Genuine question. Do you trust him? Because your portfolio probably depends upon it. Is he speaking honestly and trying to calm the fears of Americans because he knows something really good is happening and we're about to explode? Or is this a classic, well, there is a chance a recession is about to happen, but if everyone panics and thinks it's going to happen, then it could really mess things up for the wealthy and the elite. We've got to restore confidence and make people think everything is good, and then we'll let the bottom fall out from under them when they least suspect it, right? That's what we're dealing with here. And I'll be honest with you guys. I'm kind of in the middle. I look at the policies and the things happening, and I think there's a bright side to them. I think we're about to inject a whole lot of liquidity into the markets. I think we're going to continue to cut rates. We're obviously going to end QT. We're going to probably start QE soon. Everything on paper, to me, says we should expect a nice bull run and no recession. But I'm being honest with you. I don't know Bessent as a person. I've never met him. I just know people like him and people with his background have the resources, the knowledge, and the mindset to throw some curveballs at retail investors so they can pad their own pockets. So I'm in the middle here because I agree with the words he's saying. I just don't know if I can get around fully trusting him himself. I'm in a difficult spot right here. And it's, again, nothing against Bessent. It's against the industry. It's against everyone who's had their hands in Wall Street. You trust them as far as you can throw them. That's all I'm going to say there. That being said, I'm still hopeful. Still hopeful we have some good stuff going. All right, that's going to wrap up news, the big news from the weekend. I want to look at some chat here, answer some questions, maybe talk about some charts. In a nutshell, bullish. A lot of bullish things in the short term right now. Not convinced that the bottom is in for sure. We got to wait to see how things develop with our different bills being passed in Congress. We have to wait to see how liquidity kind of looks. But for right now, I feel good about a relief rally coming. We've been calling for it since last week. and it's looking like it's starting. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think? By the way, I asked in chat earlier, I said, are you worried about MicroStrategy and Bitcoin? 57% of you are saying no. 12% of you are saying I don't even know what's happening. So hopefully what I just explained here a couple minutes ago helped the 12%, 13% of you. 30% of you are saying yes. And guess what? I understand why. And that's why I'm saying right now, the roller coaster, if you thought the roller coaster is dead and gone and over, no, it's not. The roller coaster is going to get really fun if you like roller coasters. I don't. I have an inner ear thing. Hate them. But I got to ride this one because I'm heavily invested in cryptocurrency. Another thing, I was showing our VIP trading group earlier today. Go back to my screen here. When you look at the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, we're back up to 19 right now. Take my face away, Smay, because I'm going to have to show them some things that I block. So there we go. So we spent a lot of last week bouncing between 16 and 10 on the Fear and Greed Index. Today, it's the highest we've been since all the way back here on November 12th, okay? If we see repeats of kind of what we saw in history, I want to show you, for example, earlier this year. Earlier this year, we bottomed out in the Fear and Greed Index on February 27th. We got to 10 on the Fear and Greed on 27th. You would see some other volatile moments. We ended up bottoming in Bitcoin's price on the 9th, but you can see clearly a higher low of Fear and Greed versus when I come over here and look at Bitcoin. Let me put my face back on the screen now because I don't think I'm going to go back to the chart. Look at the same timelines. Remember, February 27th. What was the price of Bitcoin on February 27th? It was all the way up here at 84,000. We were literally right about to get a nasty wick to the downside. We wouldn't bottom out again until April 9th when we had a price of action down at 76,000 for the daily close. But guess what happened in between? Massive, massive downside, massive fear. People bought the fear, big upside movement. That would be a lower high, a relief rally, and then we continue downward, right? If you were to go back and look at Fear and Greed, I'm not going to go back and forth because it's time consuming. If you think that this was the lowest right here on the Fear and Greed, this or even this, it wasn't. Sometimes your actual last shakeout isn't the lowest count on the Fear and Greed. A lot of times the low count tells you, all right, we're close, but there's some roller coasters left. There are times, I'm not going to tell you there's none. There are times where the Fear and Greed Index hits its lowest moment and the bottoms out. But again, right now we are dealing with a whole lot of uncertainties about the future. We don't know when certain things are going to happen. And so I want to just continue to preach here. I'm bullish. I think we're heading back up to or above $100,000 temporarily. It just will not surprise me at all to peel over, to double bottom on those April lows, clear out everybody who's bullish. And at this point, I feel like a lot of us got here already. When we hit $74,000 after good news that's going to come out to cause this rally, at a certain point, we move into disbelief. That's when things get really bullish. Disbelief is going to be a period of time where I could tell you the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto and how bullish everything was, and you still would have no reason to buy. Secretly, the price is just going to go up to the upside because the elites, the institutions, the whales, they'll buy. But there's going to be a point where retail, and again, I think some of you already here, you won't care what good news is out there. You don't care what it is. You'll just be convinced all good news equals bad price action. That's called the stage of disbelief. I think we're close to it. I know a lot of people are kind of circling that wagon right here. I don't know if you officially crossed over into disbelief just yet. I don't know. If you guys do, let me know in chat. Do you think we've crossed into disbelief, or do you think I'm right that we have potentially one more misdirection move? Maybe we don't go to 74. Maybe we just kind of double bottom where we just were. Maybe we get up to 100 and we come back down to 80K and then we double bottom there. Either way, though, I don't think we're done with price action in this area. We'll wait and see, though. Let's read a couple chat here, and then we'll kind of call it a wrap. He knows without the consumer being able to spend, rich can stack more fiat without the little guy making and spending the fiat they want. Redline, 100% agree. Family show, though, so I'm going to not read certain things. I'm not going to imply certain things, but I agree with what you're saying there. End Time says, yeah, 80K retest. I think I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong about prediction. I'm buying right now. I didn't sell any of my crypto. I will sell. If we get liquidity injected in, I will hold off on selling. If we're get back, if Bitcoin's above 100K and there's no promises about liquidity, I'm going to be taking profit on some altcoins, especially if we get a daily sell signal that's pretty nice looking. I might take some profit there as well. There we go. All right. Chevy says, I feel like a lot of us are on the roller coaster and wanted to hop off, but it's too late and need to ride along now. Yeah. I mean, again, I'll say this again. I said this last week, but I want to say it to everybody here again. I wish I could just get on the full-blown bear train. I wish I could be as bearish as some of these people out here. The people that are dedicated to, man, the 4-year cycle is a thing. We hit it again. How do people not believe this 4-year cycle thing? We did it. We topped out perfectly in October. Now, I predicted we would have a local top in October, but I get it. We lost the 50-week moving average. Historically, that's correlated to bear markets. I get it. The MACD on the monthly chart has crossed bearish and is correlated with bear markets. I get it. Right? There are screaming pieces of evidence to say the bear market top is in. The bull market top is in, and we're entering a bear market. Said that funny. I get it. Why can I not jump on the train? Number one, I know we are in a massive manipulated market. So the minute even I feel like we're in a bear market, I've got to question my own gut and say, man, are they getting to me and convincing me to turn? Right? They want to get rid of weak hands right now. I consider myself a strong-handed holder. If they're getting to me, they're doing a good job. They're doing a good job. Reason number two, and this is my big reason, I cannot get bearish right now. And you can disagree with me. That's okay. But I want to be very honest with you where I'm at. I feel like I'm going to say this a whole lot. So you guys bear down. Smash the like button because you're going to hear this a lot. In 2018 and in 2017 and 2021, the years were marked with added liquidity. We were in QE, quantitative easing, in 2017. We were cutting rates. We were injecting money into the markets. And of course, we had a glaring, amazing bull market in 2017. In 2020/2021, the bull market, what did? We weren't officially in QE, but we were in unofficial QE. The Fed was injecting money in. They were slashing rates, trying to recover from COVID. And we saw this massive bull market. Now, fast forward to the 2 years after that. In 2018, we got to a peak, and the Fed said, oh, you know what? We need to go ahead and enter into QT, quantitative tightening. We're a little too high. Inflation is a little out of control. Let's enter into QT and start raising interest rates. In 2022, we realized, inflation is at a crazy high level. We're already technically in QT. Let's end unofficial QE and start raising interest rates, right? So in both situations, the years of added liquidity, raging bull markets, years of removing liquidity, major bear markets. They happen to be 4 years apart. And now we're 4 years later. But in 2025, do you guys notice a lot of altcoins, not all, but a lot of altcoins topped out in December of 2024. Most altcoins have not hit a new all-time high in over a year now, or close to a year now. Why? Because 2025 was not a year of injected liquidity. We thought it would be. Like, that's why I've been wrong all year. I kept seeing signs saying, 2025 is the year they're going to inject liquidity. They haven't been doing it. So 2025 has been a whole year of continued quantitative tightening. Not as stringent as 2022, but they're not moving into QE. They're not moving into added liquidity. So it's been bearish. But guess what all the signs are pointing to? 2026 should, and that's the key word, should be a year of quantitative easing, should be a year of added liquidity. So is the 4-year cycle the more reliable institution of analysis, or is money being injected in and out of the economy the bigger thing? Risk on assets, which crypto is a risk on asset, historically has always rallied during times of added liquidity and has always fallen during times of removing liquidity. Again, you guys might disagree. You're okay. That's okay. Maybe 2026 doesn't add liquidity. Maybe they just keep kicking that can down the road, and that's what keeps us from rallying. But if they add liquidity, I just can't be I can't be bearish, people. I can't. I'll lose a lot of money if I'm wrong, but I can't. All right. It's a lot there. Can you check the link chart? I did see that. Let's take a look at the link. Let's see what's happening with Link. I mean, just like everything else, it's rallying here. Go back to my screen. Thank you there, Smay. You're on it. You know, we temporarily lost that support level, but we're back up above it now. That's good. You know, you don't love that we closed 2 daily candles below, but it's nice to be back above. It's nice to have closed a candle back above the support line, and now today we've opened in, well, I'm assuming we're going to close above it unless we have this massive crash. We really look like we're making some big moves here. Daily chart, very close, just like everything else here, to that buy signal. By the way, you got to feel good with the MACD. Not that these indicators are directly tied, but the MACD looks like it's heading for a nice bullish cross right there as well. Some good bearish divergence where you see some higher lows in the MACD, but lower lows in price action. So you gotta feel good right there on the daily chart here for Link. Flow signals would say minimum here. We should be keeping our eyes when there's loads. Should be keeping our eyes up here. This order block / where the smart trail is coming down in the realm of just beneath $15, $14.90, $14.93 area. That's going to be a good level of resistance. Then the question becomes, do we break that resistance and keep going up, right? Sometimes during extremely bullish periods of time, you break through the smart trail and start a nice little bull run. That's the question here. Are we starting a bull run, or is this just a rebound bounce? We reject right here and then fall back to the downside. I would say for me to feel really good about Chainlink, you know, I don't know if Chainlink is one that's going to pop back up to like 23 and then keel back over. I think I'm looking at this area right in here, a lot of volume right in this box. That to me is a pretty definitive line, $20. I think as long as we stay below $20, if we reject on $20, we get that high and reject and the bottom's not in. But if we can make a sustained break above, I'm not saying you can't do this and then fall back below and put in a higher low. I think that zone right in there, you're breaking those lower highs. You're breaking that bearish momentum. That's where you feel good about Chainlink gaining that momentum again. Got a long way between us and there. But that's where I'm kind of feeling right now with Chainlink. I think even if we used fixed range volume, let's look at this real quick. How far back? Let's start right here. Let me look at fixed range volume. Yeah. You guys know I've used this analysis before. Where there is a gap in volume has been historically a great support or resistance level. That gap's coming in at $20. So get me above that gap. Let's break through that resistance, and I'll feel a lot better about Chainlink over the long haul. By the way, if you guys are watching all this and you're saying, man, this is awesome, Tim, thank you so much for this analysis. I would love to be a part of that VIP trading group you guys are talking about. Guys, it's Black Friday week. Make sure you go get NordVPN, secure yourself. Again, less than 1 cup of coffee for a month. But also, the VIP trading group is on sale right now. You can get up to 50% off. If you guys go to our description, go right here. Go look at this video here. Go into the description. There's your NordVPN. Here you go right here, Black Friday. Let me zoom in here so you guys can see this. Make sure you use the promo codes for this, though. If you want to go month to month, for 3 months, you can have month to month, 33% off. Use BF33 at checkout. If you want to sign up for the whole year, 50% off for the entire year when you use code BF50. This will run until December 5th, so make sure you act right now to go check out the VIP trading group. If you want to see my indicators, if you want to use my indicators for free, by the way, all these buy signals I've been talking about, the flow signals indicator, this indicator with the Smart Pack tool to give me good levels of resistance and support with order blocks, all of this you get for free when you sign up for our trading group. That right now, up to 50% off. Go into the link right now, act right now. There's only about a week and some change to take advantage of that offer. Go check it out. Tim, check Bitcoin CME on the 4-hour. It looks closed. Confirm, please. Okay, good point. I don't think though that happened like that. But let's look at it. All right. Yeah, it's not closed. Let's get a little education. I'm going to end with this one. I told you guys shorter show. It's that 45-minute mark. We're going to answer this question. We're going to get out. Make sure smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Again, make sure if you sign up for you're going to go to this link and it's not going to give you the accurate price at the moment, right? This is our norm. Oh, we put the pictures up. There you go. But it's not going to, it's going to say 60 a month right here or 150 a month. Make sure to use those codes to sign up. Okay. Education time though. This kind of stuff you get in the education group. Here's why it's not closed. On Friday, Bitcoin CME Futures, if you know how to read candles, I teach you this in the academy, the blue candles or red candles, whatever's on your chart, the lower end of the body is where the price was when that day closes. Okay, so we closed at $84,580, roughly, give or take. When we opened this morning, because over Saturday and Sunday we had a good rally, we opened up at 88,250, right? So it starts off with a pretty major gap. But while the candle was open, it opened last night, we wicked down all the way back down to 85,190. Good, cool. But there technically are still orders that could be filled. Again, this isn't 100% we have to fill it. It's just something to keep an eye on, that more often than not, these things get filled. There are technically people who probably put in orders between 84,560 and 85,120 that they did not get filled. And that's why these gaps end up getting filled at some point. They keel over, they fill it, and then they go to the upside. By the way, we usually open gaps every week, right? You're going to see lots of time periods where we open gaps. But look, you open a gap, usually we fill it almost immediately, right? There's just a couple of times where we leave a gap and then run away from it, and it becomes this major thing over our heads. For example, right back here in April, right? Let's go back to here. We had this huge gap right here. It's set in April, all the way down at 91,600. Well, we didn't get anywhere close to it for a long time. But as some of you know, obviously, part of the reason people predicted these lower prices was that gap was there. Boom, we filled it. It's no longer a big deal. Not all get filled. Sometimes, some people think we will. I don't think we're going to fill. I think if a bear market happens, there's a chance we fill the $60,000 one. I don't think we'll fill the gap down at 20,000. I don't think we'll fill the gap down at 11,000 or 9,000 or 8,000. I think there's one down at 6,000. I think there's one at 3,000, if I'm not wrong. I don't know. Maybe not. Either way, there's gaps to the downside. These are not 100%. They don't 100% get filled. But recently, under bearish pretense, with us being this close to it, that's all I can say. Be prepared. I think we have a good rally. I kind of would love for us to do this first and then rally, if I'm being real with you. A little delay in my chart there. But we'll see. You can go off my screen here, Smeg. Guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to go rest my voice a little bit. If you guys enjoyed the show, if it was helpful, if you learned something, smash like and make sure you hit subscribe. Go check out NordVPN. Get it right now. Again, less than a cup of coffee. And also check out that VIP trading group. If you've been hearing about it, waiting on it, saying, not yet, not yet. Black Friday, this is the biggest sale of the entire year. You're not ever going to get it cheaper than right now. Go check it out and make sure you use the discount codes. Love you. See you tomorrow.